Hello and welcome to the Premier Football Podcast. As always, I'm Rafe Garland and I'm lucky enough to be joined today by not just one mediocre guest, but by two wonderful guests.
Considering I'm always here, how can I be both mediocre and wonderful? That doesn't quite make sense.
Well, you have a think about that. Sean, welcome to the pod.
Thanks, Rafe. It's great to be here. Glad to be back.
Well, yeah, great to be here together. We've not done one yet together, obviously.
Yeah.
Joe, how are you?
I'm well, Rafe. Yeah.
Have you figured it out yet?
Should we move on?
Sean's here to referee tonight, I think.
Just that in a minute.
Yeah, Joe, for a change, we'll start a pod talking about Arsenal.
Seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, okay, look, obviously midweek fixtures this week in the Premier League. What a time to be alive. It's not every Tuesday that we get a battle of two of the old big six teams. Arsenal obviously move up to 10th with that
Stay
point.
in 10th.
Well, they dropped down as far as 12th, 13th at one stage.
It was mid-game. But
so
yeah.
that well, I mean, they got the goal, one of the last kicks of the game, so they were destined to be bottom half of the table, and they've kept themselves 10th with that late equaliser. I think I saw some good things on Twitter earlier. Chelsea fans were, disappointed with the result and thinking, oh yeah, look, these things happen, whereas Arsenal fans were absolutely over the moon with themselves. Is that the stage Arsenal have got to, where a draw in the bridge is enough?
Do you not remember that Arsenal were down to 10 men after 20 minutes?
I do. I'm winding up a little bit.
Yeah. So the last time Arsenal were down to 10 men in the first half against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, Arsenal lost 6-0. To come back twice in Stamford Bridge with 10 men, and a team who are apparently very good at dominating their opponents, I think shows a lot of character and is a good point. Any team would be happy with going down to 10 men so early on.
No, absolutely. Look, I saw the end of the game and they actually looked like they were playing the better football. I think that they were unlucky to concede from the free kick. Tammy Abraham banged them offside as he walked across that ball. And it's one that in years gone by you may have seen chalked off. Obviously, Arsenal coming back into the game with that wonder strike from Bellerin. Yeah, look, there are a lot of positives for Arsenal. They're gone?
Yeah, no. The thing is, it's another draw.
Yeah,
I did think that people were going over the top last night because it's a draw.
Is it 3 in a row, 4 in a row?
3 draws in a row.
I think he's got 1 win in the league, 3 draws and 1 loss.
Yeah,
that's how it's
very
been so far.
similar form to Emery's last 5 games.
But to be honest, yeah, the thing I've been saying since he got appointed was that as long as we're if we start slipping down the table, that's a worry. But as long as the performances are right and we're staying kind of anywhere in the top half, the whole season's a write-off. It's all about getting the team playing better and getting his ideas across. And he needs to start being more ruthless with the likes of Mesut Ozil, because it's just a joke his last 3 performances.
He was very poor.
Wasn't he?
Even 10 men, it was like Arsenal had 9 men. And Chelsea couldn't even capitalise on that.
He was playing centre mid.
And suddenly...
When you say he needs to be more ruthless with Ozil, what does that mean? What does he need to do?
He needs to drop him. He needs to make him available for a free transfer.
But I mean,
or a loan deal with us paying some of his wages, because he's a nuisance.
Similar to what United have done with Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, he's a nuisance. There's no point in having him at the club. I was actually thinking a couple of weeks ago, no, he needs... I've given him time. The last 3 games, enough is enough. He's awful. 1 assist and no goals in 18 games in all competitions this year on £350,000 a week as Arsenal's key player, most creative player, is a joke.
But everybody knows that. I mean, that's not news.
But there's
Arsenal have actively been trying to get rid of him for years. Since he
earlier.
signed that deal, they've been trying to get rid of him.
It's the worst.
And he came out earlier this week saying he was happy to stay.
Of course,
even
he did.
in this window and in the summer window. He wants to be there next
He's living
year.
in London, getting paid $350,000 a week.
That's his PR. His PR team are just so on point. It's ridiculous, but no, he's got to go, and we have to accept that even if we're paying some of his wages, what United did with Sanchez, they did it well.
But I mean, they're still paying $300,000 a week to go for him to be injured somewhere else.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he's not there. He's not there. He's not stinking out the place.
But is he stinking out Arsenal?
Yes.
Is he moping around, bringing other people down?
Yes. Do you see how he comes off the? Do you see how he came off the pitch in the Europa League final when we were chasing the game? Young player Joe Willock is coming on to play in the biggest game of his career, and Ozil just walks off head down. Doesn't even. He should be pumping up Joe Willock. I don't like.
Yeah, he's off for that. When Arteta tries to change a game and he's taking Ozil off frequently, he'll walk. He doesn't show the urgency like, oh, someone's coming on. Maybe change the game. 3 draws in a row, so Arteta's trying to change, draw to a win.
Yeah.
But he'll walk off. He's doing the gloves, throws them away.
He's a bad player. He just doesn't. He doesn't go forward with the ball anymore. He used to run. He used to attack. Even after, like in 2018, there was that great game.
But I mean,
Liverpool and Arsenal 3-3.
Okay,
and he scored, and he was very good in that. And at Emirates a couple of years ago.
Whatever it is, 1 win in 5. That can't be all down to Mesut Ozil. And I'm sure
No, it's not.
Mesut Ozil will find his way out of the team. But there are bigger issues at Arsenal. They need to obviously buy well over the summer. They need to sell well. There is still lots to be changed there. But even though it's another draw, they do seem to be moving in the right direction. And having watched Arsenal, they did seem like it was a decent performance.
Definitely, but you know what the biggest thing is individual errors. Like that Mustafi back pass.
Well, they're still playing Mustafi. He's
like
one
that's
everyone knows what Arsenal needs, and they have what's his name? Is it Calabria coming back in?
Saliba, yeah.
Saliba
he looks very good.
He looks very good, and he's going to slot in at centre back, and that is the plan there. But he's not available right now. Yeah. He was back in only London this week doing tests and stuff. He's very much in their plan for next season, so I don't think that people have to worry too much about that.
Why is Rob Holding not playing?
He's not fully fit.
He's been getting appearances off the bench
constantly. I think he can't be fully fit if Mustafi's starting ahead of him.
No,
he can't be.
Well, at least Luis.
We will talk about Chelsea in a minute, but first I want to talk about David Luiz, and more importantly, what the hell he was doing on the small screen on BT Sports in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
That is shocking. I mean, to actually go and find a player in the dressing room and sit him down in front of a screen and be like, watch this while we film you and put it on live TV.
He actually dismissed the camera.
He did. He was like, get out of here.
Like, BT are thinking, oh, we'll put him on. And he took up a quarter of the screen.
It was awful.
And as they're taking a corner from the right-hand side of the pitch, that's where the action is.
Yeah.
And they're blocking off some of that. It's just modern football. That's a whole other issue.
To be fair to David Luiz, he was very restrained there. Like if that was I think I wouldn't have.
No,
like I wouldn't be able to contain myself.
I mean, we were having a laugh and a joke on the WhatsApp about things that we do watching football matches that we wouldn't want to televise. But tell us a bit about Chelsea there, Sean. How did they play last night?
Callum Hudson-Odoi looked good again. A good direct runner. I think they missed Reece James. He's come into the team recently and been really good at right back.
Yeah.
Emerson was in. He doesn't really do the job that Cesar Azpilicueta does, even though he's naturally a right back.
Yeah, or a centre back, or anywhere not
anywhere
along
the back four. Emerson's in. Like they have the pick of Alonso and Emerson to come in. And when they come in, they take their corners and stuff. And he took a lot of short corners. That was the thing. Chelsea fans were getting on the back.
Can't stand short corners.
But they're slip. Like that's a poor result at home. 10 men for 70 minutes, whatever way you look at it.
Yeah, being up twice in the game.
Yeah, and an Abraham injury. We're not sure how serious that is, but he
was injured. He kept going down and standing up and going down. Were they out of subs? Were they? Was that the issue? Yeah.
And now, even before the match yesterday, the Cavani links to Chelsea.
Yeah,
possible loans.
But they do need another striker, and I know they have Michy Batshuayi and Olivier Giroud, but I mean, none of those three strikers are at the level that they want.
No, Batshuayi.
I don't think Edinson Cavani is the answer though either. I think he's just Giroud part 2 though, isn't he?
It's like going for when they went for Higuain last year. It's the exact same type. It's worse because Cavani has had five injuries in the last 18 months.
You hear the links with the likes of Timo Werner though.
He's the one that they need to be looking at.
Yeah.
And let's be honest here. Timo Werner is not going to go to Liverpool without being guaranteed a starting place.
Apparently that's where he wants to go.
I'm sure it is, but he would have to be guaranteed to be able to. Absolutely, yeah. And we've talked about this a bit on the pod. Like even for the if Liverpool win back-to-back Champions Leagues this year and they win the Premier League.
Possibly an FA Cup as well.
They'd be able to get
a Club World Cup.
They'd be able to get. No, I'm talking about the. I love the FA Cup, and the FA Cup is great. Yeah, absolutely.
And don't forget the Club World Cup.
If we're talking
World Cup champions,
give it a rest. If you They're going to have the pick of the bunch. Mbappe would have a look like.
Well, I mean,
no,
wages,
no. But how could Liverpool if he and we talked about this on the pod as well. If his agent got on the phone to
because it would
whoever makes
destroy the
those
wage
decisions-
structure of the club. It's what happened to Manchester United with
Manchester
Alexis
United.
Sanchez. It's what happened to Arsenal with Mesut Ozil. It destroys the wage structure.
I think there's two very good examples just given there, and Liverpool have been smart enough not to go, like Liverpool buy players and turn them into great players.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they don't buy superstars.
Trent Alexander-Arnold is on 40 grand a week.
And Robertson's on 50. Mustafi is on twice as much as Robertson.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka is on like 120 grand a week.
Yeah. Harry Maguire's on 190.
But that's what happens when you start flashing the cash around the way United did for years. They pay the tax on every player that they were interested in.
Yeah.
You know, Bruno Fernandes was offered to Spurs for was it 45 million over the summer? They didn't want to pay it, and now it's 65 because United were in for him in January.
Yeah.
And that's just Man United, and that's what happens. If Liverpool start throwing around ridiculous amounts of cash, it happens with Barcelona as well.
Yeah.
The way Liverpool were able to slap 140 million on Coutinho and be like, yeah, we'll just take it.
Yeah. Even going back, like I remember when Van Persie went from Arsenal to United, he was on about 80 grand a week at Arsenal. I think he would have probably taken 120, 130, but United gave him 250.
Yeah.
But he was bought in to win the league, and his goals did win the league.
It did,
It's
yeah.
a slightly different
Absolutely.
factor in that one.
Yeah, but it's still like the United, like when you're talking about the fees he would have been talking about with Arsenal, but when United get involved, then it's immediately.
So Chelsea need a left back. They need to sell 2 left backs. They need to get a left back in. They need to get a striker in, a world class striker. If they're going to buy a striker, there's no point in buying another Giroud, Batshuayi, Abraham. They need
Abraham's good.
He is good, but he's still young as well. He's got to come in.
He can't be there.
No,
It's only because they've had a transfer ban that
he got the step up.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
Batshuayi is just a poor man's Abraham.
Yeah.
Giroud's out the door. I think Cavani's a good fit for a 6-month gamble.
But like, do Chelsea need to be going for someone for a 6 month?
No, well, I think it'd be an 18-month deal. It wouldn't be 6-month loan. It'd be an 18-month.
Apparently, he's asking for 3 years. That's what he wants.
Well, because his contract with PSG ends this summer.
Yeah, so they could only get him on loan
He
for
has
6
his
months.
eyes.
He can be bought
Atletico.
now, I heard, for 20 million.
Because
his
the loan,
contract's up.
it suits all parties to get the loan in. If he loves life in London,
I mean, but he's got to go. He's got to go to Spurs then if someone's looking for a striker
gonna-
for 6 months because he knows he's going to play every single game while Harry Kane's injured under Mourinho. Like,
Well, that's what he should. He should go to a club for 6 months and then move on a free transfer and get the inflated salary and the signing on fee, and that's like he'd sort himself out for life. Like if he's not sorted out for
Did he
life
need a
already.
goalkeeper?
Yes.
Chelsea?
Yeah. That was a bad investment.
Most expensive goalkeeper in the world with the lowest save percentage in the league.
I think he should have saved Bellerin's shot.
Oh, I mean, Bellerin used a couple of defenders as a screen, and he put it right in the corner. There was a
travel quickly.
No, there was a lot of swerve on it, man. I mean, it's right in the corner. If you think about where he started, he's got to get the whole way across the goal. He's got fully stretched, and the ball is somehow.
I don't think I saw it back. Actually, I just saw it live. I haven't watched the highlights.
No, I watched it over and over and over again, man. He struck it so
I think it had
well.
enough pace that you would think that was
He
always
just put
going
it there. No, I mean that's like the kind of thing that Henry or Torres would have done in their prime, where they just find the corner. No,
big call.
but watch it. It was a brilliant goal. I mean, if that's not goal of the month, I don't know what is going to
No, I don't know about that.
be. Well,
There was a couple of great goals last night that we will touch on.
Yeah, I was so.
got a Newcastle equaliser.
Oh, what a finish! What a finish! What a finish!
First, we'll head over to Sheffield though, where Manchester City continued their good run of form in the Premier League of
4
late.
wins out of 5.
Yeah, they've not been terrible. They've still got a max points total of 93 points this season in the Premier League, which most
Very
years would be
good.
enough to win it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the thing is, like, they beat Villa 6-1 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they go and draw at home to Crystal Palace.
Conceding the way they did as well, having switched off.
Yeah, and they were were they down twice?
But they have
Yes, come back
switched off. I mean, surely their players know they're out of contention for the league at this stage.
Yeah,
Yeah, Champions League's all they'll be thinking
Well,
about.
Pep came out and said that they're only focused on qualifying for the Champions League next year.
You have to do. That's a media comment.
Yeah, it is, but it's also such a
He doesn't
snarly
believe that
Pep
himself. Does
comment.
Klopp really believe he has won the league? Like secretly, he'll be saying we're taking the game at a time. He wants the unbeaten record.
yeah.
They
all
have
do.
to turn around
But
and say, for the dignity of the league, we want Champions League qualification.
Yeah.
But they want the Champions League. He'll rest players in the league when
Of course
it
he
comes to
will.
that point
Yeah.
that they have Real Madrid.
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
City do.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'll just be resting.
Delighted for them.
Lads,
Free
I
in
can't
the
believe
Champions
what-
Delighted for them.
I can't wait
Although,
for the Champions
wouldn't
League.
Pep love to beat Real Madrid?
Of course he would.
Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't put it past him as well. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't.
Sheffield United slide to 7th with that defeat.
They-
Where do we see them ending up?
I don't know, 8th, 9th, something like that.
Who's
Yeah.
going to pop
I
up
still
ahead
think
of them?
Arsenal are going to find some sort of force.
I know you
I'll
do.
say Wolves and Spurs.
Well, Wolves are ahead of them already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm quite sure Arsenal. I absolutely back Arsenal to find some form. Arsenal will finish ahead of Spurs.
I think Sheffield United have had a couple of tough fixtures recently. I think they still play pretty decent football.
Man,
They're very hard to beat.
They only lost one. They lost 1-0 at home to City.
And tell us about that goal, Joe.
A standard De Bruyne assist and Aguero finish.
What a great ball again.
Oh, he's just puts them on a plate, and you look at the way he hits it. It's so firm because it's still just such a small gap it can go through. Like most players, if they were trying to hit that sort of pass, it would just go out for a goal kick.
Yeah.
But he hits it so cleanly,
Yeah.
and
He
Aguero
strikes
is
it very, very uniquely, doesn't he?
he really does. Aguero's just so much better than Jesus. He's
Jesus
so
is
much
not
better. He's
Aguero's
not.
there.
He's no. He's not.
City
He's
need
not.
a striker.
Yeah, they do. Aguero is. Sean was. We're having a discussion in the big WhatsApp group we have during the week, and Sean was saying that Aguero is the greatest striker of all time. I think he's the greatest
Premier League
goal
striker
scorer of all time. But the greatest striker has to be Henry.
Sure.
There's a great argument for Shearer. I would
Shearer has the
accept
record,
Shearer.
which is incredible.
But a striker's not just about scoring goals. It's most of it. You have to have a great goal scoring record, but as well, like Shearer.
He was the club captain, though.
No, I wouldn't say Shearer and Henry dominated teams. Absolutely dominated in different ways. Henry would just pick up the ball, and he was so big and so quick and so strong.
Also,
and
the
Shearer
different
was
generation
just.
of football, though.
Would you call Henry big and strong and
Man,
then go on to talk about Shearer in a different ilk?
No. On the way that Henry ran with the ball, it was impossible to get. Like he looked so big on the pitch, don't you think?
Man, I think
I think he looked very big on the pitch.
I think-
sleeve jersey, gloves are on. Things are
Oh
going down.
God, yeah, absolutely.
Man,
Under the lights.
he stunk of quality, man. Like the way Ronaldinho would, where he ran his own way and he did his own thing, and you knew that no matter who tried to tackle him, he was going to move in a way that no one expected him to.
I always just found Henry like he just seemed so big to me on the pitch. He just seemed like he had so much space. Like he was just like I don't know. He was a phenomenon, wasn't he?
And yet Aguero has a better goals per appearance.
He does.
He broke that record.
He's a better goal scorer.
Yeah, as a striker, it's kind of what I want.
Henry's a left winger, lads.
Wow.
Well, that's neither here
That's
nor
a whole
there.
other
No,
thing.
what a big talking point from the Sheffield United Man City game is the penalty miss from Jesus. Very poor penalty, but Henderson was a good.
He was. He was obviously
a good
three,
3-4 yards off the.
And
of
you
his
do
line.
wonder why it wasn't picked up on, because it was fairly obvious, and you think they do check these things.
Sean had a theory.
The theory that
Sean.
because it didn't suit Liverpool with Man City chasing
Oh
them.
wow! Oh, hang on.
Imagine
Are
that
you
if I was
suggesting
sitting
that
there.
there's a Premier League VAR conspiracy to gift the league to Liverpool?
Who knows?
Because I mean, no, I'm not going to bite.
No, that's fine.
We're not going to do that on air.
But it
No.
was the wrong call.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it should have been retaken.
No, yeah.
He probably would have missed.
He would have missed it again. Yeah, or he could have given it to Mahrez. He would have missed it.
Yeah, it's now 3 and 6 that he's missed.
Yeah,
Which
he's
is-
got to stop taking them
which
at
is-
this stage.
Which is not
Yeah, I'm
the
surprised
best.
De Bruyne doesn't take them. Like at some point, I just thought, okay, Jesus, like the one in the Champions League he missed kind of mattered.
You better be getting scores there, are you?
I am. Of
All right,
course,
good man.
of course.
And then they haven't given it to De Bruyne. I just thought best striker they have in their squad. But
You would
now,
think
actually,
so.
sorry,
He's got the
Pep
best
came out
technique, doesn't
today
he?
saying Ederson's the best striker
Let's see that.
for penalties.
Ederson is.
Ederson, and
Let him
that
take it then.
might get him in fantasy. A goalkeeper taking penalties. That'd be
Yeah, but at the
Very
same time,
interesting.
when they get stopped going down the other end,
well. If he scores them, it won't matter.
That's
fair
true.
enough.
Spurs are 1-0 up, by the way.
I saw that there. Yeah, Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll talk about fantastic goalkeepers.
Moving on
We'll
to
go
keeper
to
rights,
Goodison Park. Yeah, absolutely.
England's number 1.
England's number one.
from who should be England's number 1 based on this season
Yeah,
so far,
to
to
who
who
he
he
is,
is and
yeah.
who Southgate probably.
Well, I mean, don't begrudge poor old Nick Pope just
I
yet.
have him second choice.
I mean, he's been in pretty decent form, but Henderson's been very good this year as well.
But yeah, Pickford.
Where do you put Dubravka against those two? Obviously, he's not English, but I mean,
Well, excluding the blunder from last night, Moise Keane's first of seven goals. I would definitely say he's better than Pope and Pickford.
Yeah.
Dubravka.
He is the best of the rest. Outside
That's
of
the
the
rest
big
apart
two,
from Fabianski.
outside of the big three.
Leno's a pretty good goalkeeper.
Fabianski and Dubravka, I would have, is probably the two.
Leno's been pretty good. His
Did
save
you not
percentage
see?
has
Did you
been
not
pretty
see?
high
Did
as
you
well.
not see Leno last night?
Man, he was good.
Did you see his save from Barkley's header?
No.
Yeah,
Jorginho
it was
chipped
fine.
the ball.
I saw that.
He's a good keeper.
Most
He is a good
mistakes
keeper, I
leading
know
to goals in the Premier League since the start of last season. But yeah, he's made a lot of saves.
Fair enough. Yeah, obviously there was a lot more that happened than just dinosaur arms at the end. Trying to catch the ball in his own net. And I don't mean like in between the posts. I mean inside the actual netting.
Yeah, he jumps very far back. Everton 2-0 up in the 93rd minute of 4 minutes at a time. And Newcastle come away. A defender scoring 2 goals, including one an overhead kick.
It was a great finish.
You don't see a lot of multiple goal comebacks late on in Premier League games.
Not that late.
No.
That's
One that springs to mind though. Newcastle again coming back.
Against Arsenal.
Yeah. Czech Tiote banged one
Arsenal
in.
were 4-0 up at half time.
The late Czech Tiote banged one in.
Another
great
Pardew
goal.
masterclass, wasn't it?
Joey Barton scored a penalty. Leon Best scored. I think
Leon
Barton might have
Best,
scored 2
mate,
penalties in that.
Leon Best.
Yeah, Leon Best scored. Yeah,
Jeez, that's an absolute throwback, that one.
yeah,
Leon Best. Because I know that one for obviously Tiote's unbelievable strike.
So Everton have gone 5 games under Ancelotti now at this stage.
Yeah.
Have they been much better?
Well, they've picked up more points. They were all right.
They've
yesterday.
moved from 17th to 12th.
Yeah,
But
they're not a great team. They don't have great players.
But I mean, they've invested so much money in these players.
Yeah, they have, but they've invested money in the wrong players. Like we've seen it with West Ham as well. West Ham have invested a lot of money.
There's
as well.
it's a group of players trying together that are good
Okay.
footballers.
So
Villa invested the 3rd most in the Premier League over the summer.
Everton seem to have fairly competent defenders when they're fit.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Holgate's even come on leaps and bounds
Yeah, he has.
since the start of the season.
Coleman's been shifted into the inside of
Back
a
three.
back three.
Yeah,
or
now
the right side of a back
they
three.
stayed 4 last night.
But they didn't play him. did they?
Calvert-Lewin
Yeah.
has really kind of established himself this year. I mean, last year and the year before, he was building towards it, but he's on course for his highest goal tally this year. You were talking about bringing him to the Euros earlier.
In-form English strikers, Ings and Calvert-Lewin. And obviously Vardy, who's retired from England.
At the start of the season, we were saying that he was a championship striker at best. But to be fair, he'd showed that was the sort of form that I think he'd scored maybe 5 or 6 goals in the league. And
Dare I ask, is Chris Wood English?
He's
No,
he's from New Zealand.
He's not white.
Yeah.
But Calvert-Lewin's goal last night. He
was
takes
a
it in
good
on the
finish.
right foot, one touch out of the body, and the left foot into the side netting. It's
a great ball from
He's
Livingston
He's clearly been working on his goal scoring, because last season he would not have tried to do that.
No.
Absolutely not. Like there's been some hard work done on the.
But I think Ancelotti's told him to stay between the posts since he's come in. He said, I don't want you coming out wide. I don't want you looking for work. I know it's great for the team. Do you know what I mean? It galvanises people, but stop doing it, because when we do have the ball, we need you in a position to score when we get a chance.
Yeah.
And that's something that he said he's been encouraged to play much higher forward in recent.
Well, let's be honest. There's a real gulf in class between the current manager of Everton and the former manager of Everton. Real
But I mean,
gulf in class. Ancelotti is one of the best managers of his generation.
Don't get me wrong. I think there's a gulf in class between every Premier League manager right now and the former Everton manager. I mean, he's been stealing a living in the Premier League for like 3 years.
And you know what? He's still working off payoffs from each of his 3 former employers.
Yeah, do you think Alan Pardew is going to sign a new deal in October?
It depends how Steve Bruce does for the rest of the season. But no, Newcastle should be chomping at the bit to keep a hold of Steve Bruce. He's done a fantastic job.
Should they? Should they be chomping at the bit to
finish.
keep a hold of him?
He's been better than Benitez.
Who at
With
Newcastle
the
should be chomping at the bit?
With the
Mike
injury
Ashley should be
crisis,
chomping at the bit.
He has been.
The fans should be absolutely delighted with what he's done.
But he's a former Sunderland manager that gets on with Mike Ashley.
He's a Geordie.
But he's also a former Sunderland manager that gets on with Mike Ashley.
But I think you have to put these things.
The fans are there for football.
Listen, if he's their manager, they can have walkouts. They haven't. They can have walkouts and they can have empty stadiums and whatever.
Which they
haven't
started the season.
But they haven't done that since, because he's doing a good job.
Yep.
He has surprised me so much. I would have put them absolutely odds on to get relegated. He's been and with the only money they spent over the summer was on a striker who's got 1 goal all season. He's doing a great job.
I think he is doing a brilliant job, but I think that Newcastle fans actually resent that he's doing a brilliant job.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt
Because
Some will.
so long as they stay in the Premier League and they float around mid-table like this, they know that no money is going to be invested in the club.
Yeah.
Mike Ashley will continue cashing his paychecks every week, every month, and continue making money off the situation. And the fact that Bruce is keeping them in this position, saying that they're okay, they don't need players, means nothing is going to change for them.
Disagree, man. They've been relegated twice under Ashley's.
They've been straight back up though. They've made loads of money off it.
Yeah, but they don't like what you're saying right now is that they need something very bad to happen for there to be change. But we've seen before that nothing changes. So they're stuck in this perpetual cycle of absolute mediocrity.
Obviously, Newcastle went through a bit of a barren run before the last 2 games.
5 points in the last 3 games, 2 draws and a win against Chelsea at home.
Before the win, though,
Yeah.
I think they had gone 4 or 5 without a win. They'd been in great form. They'd been up mid-table. They were 8th or 9th, and they slid down.
Injuries.
But they have, and the fans were still losing it. They were booing them at the end of games again. They had gone back to the negativity.
I suppose it shows that patience is very thin.
Yeah.
That he's walking a fine line. Like there's only there's an expiry date there somewhere.
And let's not forget that they should have lost yesterday as well. That point, they scored 2 goals in the last minute of the game.
They got a point.
They should be exactly where they are now.
Do you think he's riding his luck?
But
like 2 goals from a centre back.
No, he's not, because he set them up to do exactly what they do.
Yeah.
They do exactly what they say on the tin. They're hard to beat. They're difficult to score goals against, and if you don't score goals against them, there's always a chance that they're going to pinch one at the other end. They've got an obvious threat in Sam Maximin, who's just going to run in behind all day and try to pick out a pass for someone else. He might score 7 goals in a season, but he's just going to cause you problems. They're going to play for set pieces, and they're going to make the count when they get the chance. And so many teams have hung around. Burnley have been doing it for years, hanging around like this. Pulis invented. I'm not going to say invented that side of football, but I mean, do you know what I mean? 4 newly promoted teams, that became the blueprint for the way to adapt. And Palace do a very, very similar job now. Brighton have moved away from it, but they've done it obviously when they came up. Villa don't do something necessarily dissimilar, and Watford don't do anything necessarily dissimilar.
Watford don't know what they do. They've had so many managers telling them so many things.
They had Marco Silva who was trying to play ball.
Yeah.
With them. No, it's Stoke definitely. Well, actually, no, I'll go back further than that. I'd say Bolton under Allardyce when they came up in 2001. They were
They started, didn't they? They really did, yeah. We went to see that Bolton team play.
Yeah, they beat Charlton 4-1.
Yeah.
Poor Charlton.
Before your time, Sean, sorry.
That's all right. I have to give a shout out to Swansea, who came up and played a different style of football. As a promoted team.
But
took inspiration from Blackpool.
I was going to... No, but Swansea... No, you're right, Blackpool. I was going to say that back in the day, you had teams like... Barnsley, who came up in 1996 before, or 1995, 96, something like that.
How much football were you watching in 95, 96?
Man, when I was 4, 5, 6, I used to have so many football books just reading about it. I promise you.
Fair enough.
And they played.
There's a lot of love for Barney in the books, was there?
No, but they went straight back down with playing an expansive style of play.
It'll be a while until you see them back as well.
Right. So we obviously don't have lots to say about Everton and Newcastle. So that was a poor showing, lads.
It was Ancelotti after the interview. He said he told the players not to feel too disheartened about a comeback like that. Because in his career he suffered a tough one when he was 3-0 up and suffered a loss after that. Pumping up his Everton players with a Liverpool anecdote. Interesting one to win the fans.
I'm going to take a quick break. I'll leave you to it for a couple of minutes.
Right. Thanks, Joe.
No problem, Joe. I suppose we'll move on to Palace and Southampton. So
that'd be a great plan, Sean. Yeah. Another win for Southampton. They move up ahead of Arsenal on the table, Joe.
Yes. This is probably why Joe's gone. But they did it without Ings.
Yeah, they did. He only came on for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he didn't score the week before either.
No. I probably know as well as I do from fantasy. And Shane Long missed an unbelievable chance to make it 3-0.
He scored the week before.
Yeah, but Obafemi plays him through last night, and he just has the whole goal, and he hits it straight down.
Now I've tried to talk to Joe about this a little bit, but he just doesn't. He doesn't know. He's not interested. The future of Irish football.
Okay.
Forward players. We got Obafemi,
Parrott,
Connolly,
Connolly. Shawnee Maguire's reasonably young, 24.
Don't talk to me about Shawnee Maguire.
Not a fan?
Not a fan of Shawnee Maguire.
Interesting.
Who was the Norwich player that got a hat-trick in the FA Cup a couple weeks ago? Adam Ida as well.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Cork.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some good, promising forward players. We got Enda Stevens at the back, John Egan.
Yeah.
Is it Egan or Egan's?
Egan.
He's
not too young.
I know he's not too young, but I mean, he's another good Premier League player.
Unbelievable footballer at QPR at the moment. Left back, Ryan Manning from Galway.
Good footballer.
Pure Irish. We can't lose him. If he gets too big, very good footballer. Getting a lot of rave reviews in the Championship at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching Jack Grealish do so well now, he's still not been capped for England, and you're watching Declan Rice falling out of favour in the England team by the day, you're just thinking about what could have been. I mean, we could be sending a really strong competitive team to maybe not this Euros, but World Cup 2022
a hungry team.
Euro 2024. It could be. Oh yeah,
absolutely, and especially with Kenny coming in, he'd be the manager.
Absolutely,
to try and nurture them. And
not to mention what the 21s are doing at the minute as well. They obviously they've qualified now for the tournament for the Euros this summer. No, they've been absolutely fantastic. They've won something like 5 of their last 6, and they've got a huge goal difference, and they look like they could be a team not just going to make the numbers, but actually compete.
Yeah.
And try to win a competition. Could you imagine an Irish team winning an international competition?
We had an underage winner, an under-17s or something in the last decade, I'm pretty sure.
Did we? Yeah. Who would have been on that team?
McGeady, people like that?
No, McGeady's about 65 at this age, Joe.
McGeady's still doing step-overs somewhere. I think he got Sunderland, actually. Or maybe we just had someone who did really well in the under-17s. Yeah, I think he got released.
Probably would have been Grealish and Declan Rice were still playing, man.
Possibly. Yeah, but we saved Southampton for your job.
So look, Ida was doing his best. Not Ida. God, Obafemi was doing his best to set up.
Long. Yeah, it was a 4 miss. But the 2 Southampton goals, Redmond and then
Redmond was a screamer.
Unbelievable. And now I think it was Armstrong. I could be wrong. Who scored the second, but also a great strike.
He looks like a pretty good footballer.
Yeah.
I think we talked about him last week. I was convinced that he came through as a striker.
Stuart Armstrong.
He was playing FIFA the other night. I was convinced he was a striker, but he apparently is a midfielder these days.
Yeah, like Southampton have moved up to 9th.
They're
probably one of the informed teams.
Their level with Spurs. Going into today's fixtures, Spurs are going themselves.
And Spurs had a game in hand, I think. But
that was the game in hand, the one they're playing now.
Spurs' game, yes. Spurs are going to be 3 points ahead. Yeah.
Should they win?
Yeah. But Jesus, Shane Long had such an easy chance.
Yeah, we were just saying Obafemi, a little Irish connection, set him up and he missed it.
Either side of the keeper with power is a goal.
Sounds like Shane. Look, he scored last week. That's his quota for a couple of months.
For
a year.
For a year, yeah, man. He's a defensive forward.
He's a one-goal season striker.
May as well announce it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Shane.
Happy birthday, Shane.
He said that.
Slong.
But yeah, Palace. That's the 4th time this season they've conceded 2 at home.
Stats.
But they only concede 2 at home to like City, Leicester, Liverpool.
Southampton are class.
Are tough to break down. That's the point I'm trying to make. Southampton have turned the corner. That game they lost 9-0 was probably the best thing that ever happened.
Absolutely. And do you know what? Fair play to the board for sticking with Hasenhüttl after that. Because it would have been very easy to just sack him.
Do you know what though? They've gone on this class vein of form, but they absolutely blew it against Wolves last week. Yeah. They absolutely bottled it, 2-0 up at half time against a relatively tired Wolves team that played a lot of football.
Mm-hmm.
They somehow
Jesus, yeah. They lost.
They didn't manage that game well.
And were Southampton at home in that game? If I'm not mistaken, yeah. Oh Jesus, you have to see that out.
Yeah, their home form hasn't been fantastic, but on the road they look very, very, very threatening.
Yeah. No, fair play. Hasenhüttl really did turn around. If they pushed on, which I don't expect them to, I reckon they'll hit the 38 in their next couple games or whatever, and holiday mode will quickly come in. But if they kicked on and actually challenged for, I'm not saying a Europa League spot, maybe a 7th grade, there's a man who'd be in for a shout for manager of the season. Now, Klopp will take it if all the accolades and everything else is coming. Do you know what? He should be up there
with Wilder. With Wilder
as well.
Possibly Brendan Rodgers as well. I know he's fallen off.
It
depends where they finish.
Well, they'll finish. But what he did from where they were, it's some turnaround.
No, but
and you'd love to see someone who got stuck by, as Joe touched on.
I think Leicester will finish in the top 4.
Yeah, top 4 they will. But if their season goes out on a whimper,
I mean, is it a is the flame going out towards the end and they just kind of hover to top 4 because like last year everyone's tripping over themselves not to qualify?
Yeah.
I
think if
the race
if
to not finish top 4 has well and truly started.
It really has. It started a few weeks ago, and what's so annoying for myself as an Arsenal fan is that Arsenal aren't capitalising. Arsenal keep fucking trying.
They're in the race to not finish top 4. They're trying,
which is mad because they're 10th. But if Arsenal had won the last 2 games, they would have been They would
push that point over the table. I can't see it anymore.
Yeah, they'd be 5th.
Yeah. No, but if Leicester finish in the top 4, he has to be in with the shout for Manager of the Year, without a doubt, because that's a great achievement. Given the competition, although the competition seems to be in self-destruct mode.
Yeah, it does. But we do talk about these brilliant managers, but Liverpool have got 64 points from 22 games.
That's crazy, yeah.
Anyway, the race to not finish 4th, the race to not get relegated.
Oh, that is on.
Absolutely heated up. Some results, I didn't see Watford losing last night to Villa.
He's a born presenter, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
That was a segue. Villa 2, Watford 1. That result changed how the bottom 6 line up. Because I still don't think Watford. My only other appearance on the podcast, I said Watford won't go down. I still stand by that. But what that's done for Villa,
I think, as well. Since we recorded the last show, Norwich picked up a huge win over the weekend as well. We did a bit of a feature about the upcoming big games between bottom clubs and how it was going to shape it out. And we didn't give Norwich a whole lot of a chance. And look, we're presuming they're going to lose tonight as well. We still
same for myself and Sean when Sean was on the last time we were.
But we said that if Norwich beat Bournemouth would find themselves in real trouble, and Norwich would have had to win that game to give themselves any sort of hope.
Yeah.
They've gone and done that, and they've made it interesting. And now Villa have gone and done the same thing.
Yeah.
If they had lost to Watford would have climbed up and out of the drop zone, and Villa would be the one stuck in it now.
Yeah.
But they've gone and obviously turned it around, and haven't gone behind in that game as well, to come back and really show a bit of grit and character.
Yeah. It was another late goal. There was a couple of late goals last night. So,
Joe, your favourite moment? Troy Deeney's celebration.
Oh my God. That is what football's all about, isn't it? Boy, for a Birmingham City fan. Actually, as an aside, I have no time for Birmingham City. I was delighted when they got
they got 11 at some point.
We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, boy, for Birmingham City fan who gives Watford the lead at Villa Park.
Wojciech Szczesny, it was the first time his parents ever left Poland to watch that game.
Tommy Martins.
That was worse than losing to Bradford in the League Cup semi-final the year after. We were in League 2.
A real team like Swansea can beat Bradford.
Who then Swansea beat 5-0.
Oh God! You love it, like Troy Deeney. Football shithouse, the same way Jamie Vardy in front of fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'd probably take Troy Deeney to the Euros.
Oh God, you've said it now. You're going to stick by that. It's recorded.
I'm joking.
No, that's verbally binding.
Who was it that found themselves in trouble this week for going and watching a lot of football with the fans?
Ollie McBurney went to the South Wales Derby. Yeah.
he was caught flipping up.
Yeah, he made some obscene gestures to the Cardiff fans. He's just a football fan. And the best part of that was Chris Wilder came out and said he completely got it. He's a guy going to watch a team that he's passionate for.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a bit of 2 fingers to the FA, riding in all your players' behaviour. Get over it.
Yeah.
Can't have that. It's football. Emotion runs through it. That's why we love the game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, Aston Villa came back anyway. Jack Grealish didn't score any goals this time.
No, neither did Konsa.
Oh, the poor man.
That was, and they got him on. Was that BT or Sky? Who were it? Was Sky. That was.
All these
that was
back shots. We're trying to get WWE.
That,
with this now, all these behind in the locker room camera angles.
It's all because of the Amazon series. Because of the what? Did it start with the Spurs one, or was there Sunderland? Sunderland
till I die.
And then there was Spurs, and now there's
I think even Juventus was before Sunderland, wasn't it?
Right, but yeah, they've started these behind the scenes things, so they're all like the other major channels are trying to.
But that's the worst part about it. Like they 100% knew if the goal was given or not. So then it's camera on the player. We're going to tell him it's not his goal. And then it's a guy down the mic where you don't hear a response come back, and it's like, oh, it's not his goal. Okay.
For a start,
that's all laughing at you.
For a start, what asshole presenters and producers who decided that was an okay thing to do?
That's just a strike.
Dickheads on the dubious goal.
Exactly. That was my second point. The dickheads on the dubious. Well, the dubious goals panel is comprised purely of dickheads.
Very dubious itself, isn't it? The whole conversation.
Characters.
The dubious panel. We'll leave it at that.
When I first heard about the dubious goal panel, I thought that it was a joke. It was like, the dubious goal.
No, well, Joe, you were right. It is a joke.
It's not a very funny one. Like I haven't seen a replay yet where you can see the contact. I've only watched kind of the highlights and then saw the goal.
You can see the ball spin change a little bit.
Then you see a few frames. That's crazy. Mings, I don't think even knows. Maybe he does. Maybe he claimed it.
I'd say he was having
Harry
a great
Kane
laugh about it.
Yeah.
No, that's probably what separates him and Harry Kane. Harry Kane was begging for a goal that clearly didn't.
But at the same time, this lad concept, I'm sure all of the Villa lads will be laying into him all week.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll bring him into the squad really, really nicely. By the end of this week, he'll be a massive part of that Villa team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They would have loved him obviously for scoring the winner, but the fact that they don't have to talk up the young lad, that they can just give him a bit of stick.
Yeah. And might push him on. You see things like that where it kind of gets ruled out. I hope he scores another screamer because it was a great strike.
Yeah.
It was going in regardless.
I mean, it's only downhill if you score a screamer on your debut. Look, like Danny Rose. That's 3 spikes.
Although I don't think Arsenal lost that game.
They drew it, did they?
I can't remember.
I think they drew that. Was that a 4-4 that game as well, possibly? I think that was a 4-4 as well.
There's a lot of high scoring North London derbies.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's the best derby in the world.
Yeah.
It is the best derby in the world. Guaranteed.
It doesn't do a red Monday anytime you watch it. Liverpool and Man U, and not a traditional derby, but that never lives up to the hype.
No, it's always a damn squib.
Yeah. If only they played recently, we could talk about that.
Yeah, but they played really recently was Bournemouth and Brighton.
Another one of these huge games. And Bournemouth having lost, obviously, against Norwich, if they were to drop points against Brighton, Bournemouth would find themselves...
Cut adrift, 20
points, yeah.
And now they're
2
kind
points
of 1
ahead of
point
Norwich.
behind.
I think the three of us have all been saying for a few weeks now that Bournemouth are done. It was certainly after the Norwich defeat that was like if they go to Norwich and lose, then that's really.
You never said they were done.
We said that. We said that.
No.
You said that.
I did not say they were done at any stage, man. I've not written them off yet. I still back them to turn it around.
Man, you told me last week that they were down.
Well, we'll find that footage, and I might have to eat my words. But I'm fairly certain that
put it on the Instagram.
I think that they're probably done.
I think they will join Norwich in going down.
Yeah, I think that them and Norwich purely because of the way they play as well, because they stick to their principles and they don't.
I think that put it. Norwich, Villa, and West Ham are going to go down. Oh, actually, no. Norwich, West Ham, and Brighton are going to go down. I'm finally, for the first time all season, saying that Villa might possibly stay up.
I think Villa...
I've had Villa written off since the very, very start of the season. I'm still not even convinced about them. Brighton. I thought Brighton were better than they are.
Brighton have nicer fixtures than a lot of the other teams. Villas are particularly...
But I mean, everybody's really got to play each other still at this stage, don't they?
Well,
they do.
You've played tougher ones already, and some have played easier ones already. If you've tougher ones
in the last
left,
4 games. If you've played tough games in your last 4 games, then maybe. But you should have had half of them done at 18.
You're over half now, yeah. The only one to be made up is Liverpool West Ham, which we get next week.
Jesus, do you know if Burnley beat Manchester United, then they're level on points with Arsenal?
But if Manchester United beat Burnley, they are
3 behind Chelsea.
3 behind Chelsea.
Huge game. Yeah. Huge. So we can expect a quality 0-0.
A quality 0-0 tonight.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the scores.
I'm pretty sure it's 0-0. I checked.
So Leicester
were 2 up half time.
Were 2 up in the end, were they?
Yeah,
2
Barnes and
2 that game. Mark Noble's got a pen back.
Of course he did.
How did you know that?
Because I read it there looking over your shoulder, Joe.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, you've put your guess out there for who you think are going to have to be Norwich, Villa, and Bournemouth. I think Brighton will get out, and you know I don't like Brighton.
Yeah, I know.
You know I don't like Brendan Thompson. Or what they did is yeah, I think Brighton will survive. They've got a bit more about them than give the ball to Jack Grealish or give the ball to or the Norwich way, as we discussed. But I think Brighton have a bit more about them. Good play. Potter brings that. Pity he couldn't keep it at South Wales, but anyway.
Yeah.
Right, do we think United are going to get a result tonight? Obviously, the viewers, when they see this tomorrow, will know the score, so you'll be judged.
They started Pereira again. That never gives me confidence in them getting a result.
I mean, he should have scored against Liverpool. If he'd gone with his other foot, he would have scored.
It was easier than the Lo Celso chance Spurs had against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Pereira really should have put that away.
I mean, Lo Celso did get decent contact there, is the only thing. Pereira's gone with the wrong foot. He's not trusting himself with the left foot.
Even if you got the studs on him and just prods it in. The only thing about Man U tonight, they've one Maddis starting. He's been in good form.
He has been in good form. Is Matic starting
looking good? Matic and Fred.
I think they might actually get a result.
I think they'll draw. I think it'll be a draw. Yeah.
I think this is exactly the type of game that Burnley and Sean Dyche grind out a result.
That's why I'm saying a draw. I think for Burnley, a result is a draw.
Yeah. Away from home.
I think it might be tough to beat United at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Well, not for a lot of teams in recent time.
Even for Liverpool couldn't beat them at Old Trafford this year.
Yeah, that's a strange one. But these are exactly the type of games where Man U should be winning at home.
They couldn't beat United barring the technology that ruled out a legitimate goal for Liverpool and didn't chalk out a goal for Manchester United.
That is
despite the foul and the build-up for United's goal and the deflection onto the arm from anyway.
At the end of the day, the scoreline was 1-1.
It was. And look, talking about Liverpool dropping points, the two toughest games they have on paper left this season are probably City away and Wolves away.
Yes. Wolves
and
away.
Arsenal away.
The two
toughest games.
Wolves away, Man City away.
You haven't beaten Arsenal at the Emirates for a few years.
I'm afraid I think that'll change it this year, John.
We didn't beat was it 2 years?
3 of the last 2 years. 3-3 and 1-1 last year.
3-3 with the Firmino masterclass, was it?
Arsenal were 2-0 down and Arsenal were winning 3-2 and then Firmino equalised 2 years ago.
Firmino cleaned up in Anfield last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I do remember Liverpool going there. Was it under Rodgers and getting a huge win?
It was 4-3 on the opening day.
Yeah. No, not that year. There was a year where Martin Skirtle scored a couple.
You've never gone to the Emirates and
no, there was one big day. They scored. They scored.
It was at Anfield. It was at Anfield.
No, they were wearing white. No, they were wearing white. Martin Skirtle scored. Suarez scored. Sterling scored. It was the SAS, the new SAS.
Anyway, less about that.
Aquilani could slot into
Aquilani.
Wolves, Liverpool.
Yeah, and as a Liverpool fan, I'm genuinely nervous about that game because Wolves can do absolutely anybody.
Especially because we don't have a fair reflection from the earlier game when Wolves rested players at Anfield.
Yeah.
Now they're going in, they'll have Jimenez starting, Traore starting, Doherty starting.
Look,
hopefully.
Let's not blow too much smoke up Traore's hole because he's
a very dangerous player.
He's a very fast runner.
He's a very fast runner, is what I would say. Until the season, he has developed a lot.
He's the most quick and he's the player with the perfect combination of power and pace in the Premier League.
He's a much better version of.
He does lack a lot of end product.
He's a much better version than.
Imagine him and Saint-Maximin on either side.
Yeah, right wing.
Who would be the perfect striker? Diego Costa for them to be.
No, Kylian Mbappe.
No, Giroud. Just he never keep up actually on the counter. I was thinking for pinging the ball in.
That's like legitimately the best partner would be Sergio Aguero because he scores everything.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about a player like that who plays as a striker. Who plays as a striker?
Who's rapid but can't score a goal.
No, he's rapid and really powerful.
Getting onto it.
Who's rapid and powerful, but maybe not necessarily brilliant in front of goals.
Yeah.
Shane Long.
I was going to say Shane Long, but he's not that powerful.
Not anymore. His goal thread is gone, unfortunately, for the lad. Happy birthday. But yeah, was that who you were going with?
I was thinking Shane Long, but no, I didn't want to go with him. I wanted to go with someone else.
Lacazette.
Lack of threat.
Oh God! Now even Joe's trying me in with broken.
I know, yeah. Liverpool have another game
next week
against
counts
West
as
Ham.
this game week in terms of fancy football and all that because it's the next Premier League game after tomorrow night.
It's unfortunately an FA Cup weekend, is it?
Yes, getting a bit of break.
I mean, that just sucks.
Yeah,
I love the FA Cup.
The Magic's gone in the early rounds. I enjoy when it gets.
Liverpool play Shrewsbury Town.
Minamino or the new boy.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely watch them. Minamino and Elliott.
Origi.
Look, we know about Origi. We know who he is and what he's about. Elliott genuinely looks like a really, really good player.
Yeah.
Every time I watch him,
he's still 17.
I'm actually I don't want to get too caught up in the hype about him because he's so young. But then you watch him and you go, wow, he's actually just really good at football.
So you do anyway.
I do, definitely, man. I get so caught up in it. Look, Minamino's obviously played the one game so far and wasn't especially impressive in it, but it was his first game in England. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to go out. I don't think he's going to be a hit. I think he's going to be a strange squad player who's just.
We'll see. But he cost $7.5 million.
He's going to sell jerseys in Japan.
It's a fan base signing.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it is absolutely. I think he's going to be doing well to.
They said that about Ji-sung Park, but he became a big game player for Manchester United.
Yeah, and how did Dong Fang Zhao get on?
Or Park Chu-young for Arsenal.
Or Ki-sung Lee for Swansea, is that his name?
No, Ki-sung Young.
He
came from Celtic. He
played for Newcastle as recently as last season.
He's
the season before.
with Newcastle.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's just not getting a game anymore.
He's injured. They've got a lot of injuries.
They do have a lot of
Fernandez
injuries.
and Ki-sung Young joined Newcastle this summer.
Right.
Or sorry, when we got relegated.
Yeah.
He refused to play the last game for Swansea because he was leaving on a free to Newcastle.
Sounds like Michael Owen.
Yeah. Avoid injury at all costs.
Is that possibly a score? Or no,
No, I think
you just got your phone on during the show.
He was doing the live score. We'll let him on. Joe, you didn't give a prediction for the bottom three.
That's
just
true.
Out of interest.
Yeah, Norwich, Bournemouth, and I really want to go for Burnley, but I just feel like with them that little bit ahead. No, I'll go for Burnley.
You're going with Burnley?
Yeah.
Over Villa?
Yeah, I think Villa will be all right.
Over West Ham? Over Brighton?
Do you know what? It would be a toss-up between Burnley and West Ham.
West Ham? Have we spoken about West Ham enough today? Because they're the other team that Liverpool play next week.
No, the West Ham are in real
Leicester
trouble.
are beating them tonight.
2-1 at the moment.
Can I just say something? Do you know who was a bit of a fraud in the end?
Tell us.
Pellegrini. I was saying earlier on this season that he was very good, but
look at what he's working with at West Ham.
He took West Ham so
they
far
have
down.
a terrible team. They have a terrible. Yes, they have.
Is their team that terrible?
Yes,
they've got awful. A band of good footballers.
Who would you want to buy from West Ham? One player.
At Arsenal?
Yeah,
none.
Are you sure you wouldn't take a Banna or Diop?
Definitely.
Diop looks quite decent actually.
No, is he?
He's linked with Chelsea.
Look who's playing around him. He's got Zabaleta, 35 years old. Like he's had his time.
Do you know who I take at Arsenal? Fabianski. That's the second choice to Leno.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's what he's working with. And let's remember that this Arsenal team are 10th right now. And the only players that they take from the West Ham team would be a backup goalkeeper.
No. Arsenal being 10th doesn't make Arsenal still have to be attracting.
No, I know. But I mean, how many? Everton are always used as the measuring stick for outside the top four. How many West Ham players would get the Everton team?
I think they probably take Felipe Anderson. He's not been very good this season.
Ahead of Richarlison?
Actually, Richarlison's
ahead of Theo Walcott,
but he's ahead of
Richarlison does the same job though. That left-sided player / the left winger coming inside. I mean, they both play on the left.
He's been playing as a striker a lot this season.
Yeah, but he's never played on the right.
No, but he's been playing. No, Richarlison has been playing as a. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so maybe Anderson on the left and play two strikers, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah, you could do that. And then have Moise Keane on the bench.
I'd almost say Pablo Fornals, but everything
I think he's done nothing.
Richarlison to play there. Sigurdsson, obviously, who's injured now as well.
Yeah, Fornals has done nothing.
He's come on in the last few weeks.
Do you know what? Declan Rice is better than Fabian Delph.
Is Haller an upgrade on Calvert-Lewin?
They're about the same level.
No, but he's better than Moise Keane.
But Declan Rice is better than Fabian Delph.
Do you know what?
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Snodgrass is a proper footballer.
He is. He's good. I think that he's much better than Theo Walcott on the right. He's a very good player.
He's just so slow. Great dead ball specialist, but then
you know what? You definitely have Fabianski ahead of Pickford.
Yeah, 100%.
He's Polish number one.
Yeah.
He's ahead of Szczesny. He plays ahead of Szczesny, Poland, who starts for Juventus.
Spurs last weekend dropped more points.
They're not a great side. They made a very big, expensive mistake in getting rid of Pochettino and hiring Mourinho. Pochettino was probably done, but to bring in Mourinho for the kind of money he's on and the kind of manager that he is these days, he's not the charismatic charmer that we had in 2004. I think that after his spell at Madrid, when he came back to Chelsea, his attitude in terms of how he relates to the media and his players as well, is very confrontational.
He's come out this week saying he spoke to Troy Parrott, and that's why Troy Parrott's not in the squad tonight.
They win tonight and they go level 5th with United and Wolves, who obviously both have a game in hand. United have a game tonight and Wolves have a game against Liverpool. He's taken them up from where he took over,
which was
the problem is with Mourinho. Look at the pain involved in doing that. Like, look at the trauma involved. And
players have come out and said that they feel, well, not come out and said it, but there have been leaks from the Spurs dressing room saying they feel the training sessions have gone backwards in terms of what they're learning. He's falling out with Danny Rose, which is not a surprise.
Well, Danny Rose is wanted to leave for ages. He's out the door. He's out the door in the summer. But yeah, no, that's absolutely standard Mourinho. Would you be surprised to hear that his training methods were innovative?
Do you know what though? I'm surprised that I'm not hearing what a wonderful guy he is and what a brilliant manager he is and how everyone is loving playing on him. Because it's the first year.
He's not a wonderful guy.
But it's the first year. People are meant to believe that he's a wonderful guy.
No, but I think that
there's a pattern to this shit.
No, of course there is, but I think he's lost that.
I don't think that he didn't have a pre-season either. But he came into a thick fixture list. He hasn't got to implement his stuff either.
Here's a question for you guys: what do you think he does on his first season, pre-season? Like, what do you think he does to make the players?
He gets them organised defensively, man. He tells them how brilliant they are.
Yeah, I think he can spend time.
He tells them, he finds all the propaganda from the year before about all of the negative things everyone said about it. He pins it up all over the room. This is what they're saying about it. You know what I mean? It's us against them. It's what's going on again in here. There's a conspiracy against us. It's everything happening out there. Don't listen to us.
It's very us against them.
They say that Arsenal are the biggest team in London. Let's go and show them otherwise.
Yeah. And I think he gets that without a pre-season. I think he has to jump in and work on shape, and maybe it's not what Spurs players want to do because Poch was trying to play lovely football.
But they've got to move on from Poch though at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course they have to. But
they stopped running for him. They stopped playing for him.
They got him transition.
No, it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense.
The situation with Poch is 100% down to the fact that he wasn't back for 3 transfer windows in a row, and he had a squad that was stale, players that wanted to leave, and he couldn't get
same faces coming in the door every day.
Exactly, and now they bring in Mourinho, the guy who needs all the money in the world to get a squad the way that he wants it to be. So they've completely brought it on themselves, and I think it's an expensive mistake, and it's completely unfair on the job that Mauricio Pochettino did,
but
to not back him for so long.
Their value has gone up as a club since he took over as manager. Their stock price has gone up, and there's a lot of talk saying that Spurs are going to be sold in the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
In the next year.
It goes with the Mourinho factor though. He's a bigger name than Poch.
But that's a lot of the talk as to why he was brought in and as to why they've not been putting money into signing players. Why they brought in the new stadium.
He would love if they were sold to fucking hell if Tottenham get bought by a Saudi royal family or something.
Big money, big checkbook for him.
Mourinho part 2 with a war chest.
I might have to stop following football if Spurs go.
But it might restore your confidence in football to know Man U are losing 1-0.
That is great news.
But that also means Burnley aren't going to get relegated. So
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm definitely fine with that.
Informed English striker, according to yourself, Chris Wood got the goal.
Hang on, I asked the question if he was English. I did not make the assumption that he was English.
Yeah, he's got the goal anyway. Just coming up to half-time.
I took him out of my team when I played my wildcard 2 weeks ago, and he scored in the last 2 games. I heard he had a broken nose. It's not stopping him. He scored 2 goals in 2 weeks with a broken nose.
No. He had the mask last year as well, I think.
He busted out last week as well. I assume he's wearing it tonight. Yeah.
New Zealanders are hard.
Yeah, they are. Right, we spoke a little bit about Poch. Is he the man for the job at United? Sean, you probably watch more United than any of us over the last couple of years.
Only because Sky forced him down your throat. But he's better. It's hard to find anyone who would be much worse than Solskjaer. He got Cardiff relegated. He managed in the Norwegian.
Yeah, did he win a title with Molde? He got them up. Man, they were a bottom bottom table team or lower mid-table team, and he got them up to the better end of the table.
No, Poch is exactly what that club needs. Apart from the huge overhaul and a sporting director and
new owners
and
proper recruitment.
I think that's the thing. I think Poch could be good for United, but he would need proper recruitment.
But
he'd certainly what he did very well at Spurs was that he didn't have proper recruitment, but he managed to make them very good. But I think with very good to a certain extent. I think with United,
yeah.
You know what?
Champions League finalists and losing.
People bang on about Manchester United's recruitment. Recruitment isn't an overnight thing. Liverpool's recruitment when Fenway Sports Group first came in was poor. It was it was.
Yeah, but it's it's probably the model to base it on.
Look at United signings last summer. In the most recent transfer window, they've obviously not done the business this summer. This January, they don't want to spend the big money on Fernandes, but they got in Wan-Bissaka, who looks a very competent defender. Yeah.
Good defender, terrible offensively.
They got in Maguire for too much money, but he's an upgrade on what they had.
Is he?
He is.
If Eric Bailly is fit,
he's not an upgrade on what they have.
Who does Bailly start with?
If he was starting, I would say with Lindelof. He's an up now. Maguire's an upgrade on Jones and Smalling. Okay.
No, on Jones.
You think Smalling's same level?
Yeah, Smalling's a decent centre half.
Smaldini's doing well over in the
He's doing very well.
In a league where you need to... Well, to be fair, Federico Fazio went from Spurs to Roma and did all right.
Yeah.
But Dan James was the third player that came in.
I would ask...
he looks relatively up to speed. Obviously, he's a young player.
He's literally done nothing since September.
But he's still, 18?
21.
Yeah, he's young.
He's 21, 22.
He's 21. Still drives to Swansea for his lucky haircuts.
Yeah.
I have a question about recruitment. Do you think that we're moving away from the model that's been shown by the likes of Chelsea and City over the last few years? And I know that Liverpool spent money, but in the way that Liverpool did it, in that they're buying players from largely from the same domestic league, who are not necessarily in the best teams. You could think of Wijnaldum would be a prime example of a Newcastle team that got relegated.
Give me another example.
Van Dijk, Southampton.
Was Van Dijk for Southampton as well? Yeah, although they spent a lot of money on him.
Relegated with Stoke, he comes in. He's
Mane from Southampton, Shaqiri,
there's a few Southampton players we've got through here.
Robertson relegated with Hull.
Yeah.
Lallana, good squad
player.
Is
that that's
Oxlade-Chamberlain from Arsenal?
Lower table team. Yeah.
But what a great player, and doing a far better job at Liverpool than he was doing at Arsenal.
That was always going to happen because he was held back by Arsene Wenger, who was way past. I was having this conversation last night that Chamberlain has to start on the right of a three for England in the Euros. I think with Henderson and then either Grealish or Maddison on the left in a midfield three. I think that'd be the way to go for England. But anyway, no, I just thought that would be an interesting topic about recruitment.
Like Liverpool have it's the right way to do it. I touched on it earlier. They're buying players that aren't. No, okay, Van Dijk may be the exception. He was the big name.
But City's recruitment is very good also.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. They don't necessarily overpay for players. They spend a lot of money, but they have a lot of players.
Yeah, but when Claudio Bravo,
who do they spend more than 50 million on?
They don't. They go up to 50, and they kind of
absolutely. That's it. They refuse to go. They refuse to go.
Which is fine way of doing business, but some of the players haven't been worth the 50 either.
Fair. If you look at Nicholas Otamendi and
John Stones,
Nicholas Otamendi, I think was 30. I'll tell you who wasn't worth the money was Eliakim Mangala.
No, stop.
Mangala, John Stones, Otamendi, bit of a centre back theme there.
Well,
Jesus isn't the full shilling.
Not build up at all.
I think jury's still out on Rodri.
Jesus cost them £27 million, so I'd say he was probably worth it for a striker who can come in. He can do a job when Aguero's not there, but he can't do the job.
Fair.
Jury's out.
How much?
Not played for? I think it was about £50 million. Yeah, 50 million pounds.
Was there a swap involved in that with Danilo?
There was some, but I know
Danilo's market value was 35 million pounds, and Cancelo's market value was 50.
Yeah.
Sorry, euro. So it would have been 15 million pounds or 20 million pounds.
Plus money, but still.
Do we have any breaking news on scores before we wrap up?
It should be half time at Old Trafford.
Yeah, 1-0 Burnley. 1-1 in Spurs and Norwich. That's great
Norwich
news.
definitely going
Timo
down.
Pukki penalty.
Norwich definitely going down. You heard it over here.
Norwich are definitely going down. I will come back on the end of this series and wearing a Norwich jersey if they don't go down. I'll have to source one, but I'll do it.
Potentially, 19 points now, 5 points off safety if they keep that result. If they go on and nick one, they're only 3 points off safety with 14 games to go.
I have no faith.
Players coming back from injury.
No faith in them.
I don't know. It's a tied Premier League from second all the way
If
down.
Daniel Farker is kept
And we
there,
love it.
they won't.
Well, we don't
I
know.
certainly love it.
That battle for
I know
8th,
you
9th, that's really heating up.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Yeah,
The Everton Cup,
Class.
as who calls it that? The Guardian Football Weekly have the Everton Cup.
Who finishes 8th?
Well, it's seventh essentially.
What
Yes.
Spurs wouldn't, what Arsenal wouldn't do for a 4th place trophy these days.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you, they laughed at Wenger. They said he was crazy.
It
wasn't
They demanded he
It
leave
wasn't.
the club.
I wasn't just Arsenal fans. It was the media saying Wenger was crazy, saying 4th was like a trophy.
Yeah.
Everyone says it now. Wenger was always ahead of his time
Yeah.
till the last 2 years. 3.
You said 10 last time I was talking to you.
No, Jesus, don't get me wrong. He lost his way in a big way.
Right.
Wrap it
We
up.
started about Arsenal, finished about Arsenal.
Continue as you need to go on.
That sounds about right.
Wouldn't be like us. Sean, thanks so much for coming on the
No
show.
problem. Great to be here. I'll
Sean,
be back.
Rafe,
would you be back?
we'll see about that. Considering it's,
I might be back in a Norwich jersey. Who knows?
Right. Till next time, guys.
Subscribe, like,
Share the
follow.
content around.
You know what to do. He's done the job before. Yeah. Press that subscribe button on YouTube or Spotify, and then if you've done it on Spotify, go back to YouTube and do
There
it
will
again.
certainly be a poll coming out about Norwich's relegation. What do people think? Are they going there or not? I think.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this stage, you're going to get the passwords.
I was
for
just
our
going to
Twitter,
say we
so
might as well give Sean the passwords to the
I
Twitter.
swear I studied some of this stuff.
Go
Go on.
Right. Thanks, guys.